So if we're given the gradient of a line and then one point that lies on the line, the question is, how do we find the equation of that line? Well, here's how. So imagine we're told the gradient of the line is 2 and that the line passes through the point 3, 7. Well, in a previous video we've looked at the equation of a line being y equals mx plus c, where m is the gradient of the line, it's just a number that represents the gradient, and c is the constant. So in our question we're told that the gradient is 2, so the equation of this line must begin y equals 2x, 2 being the gradient. Now the constant c, we don't know what that is, but we've got some information here that's going to help us find it. Because when x is 3, y is 7 on this line. So we put the values x equals 3 and y equals 7 into our equation. And that's what we end up with. Y equals 7 means in this equation that's y, so that should equal 7, so that's why that becomes 7. And we're also told that x equals 3, so in the equation y equals 2x, our x value is 3 from this information here, and now we can use this 7 equals 2 lots of x plus c in order to find out the value of c. So that gives us 7 equals 6 plus c, so c would have to equal 1. So in fact our equation is y equals 2x plus 1. Let's look at a second example, picking out the key information. First of all, we need the gradient, and that tells us that the gradient is 3. So the equation of our line must be y equals 3x, and then the constant that we're going to find. And we're going to use the fact that it passes through the point -1, 4. So when x is -1, y is 4. So y equals 3x plus c, we can substitute y equals 4 and x equals -1 into that equation. So that's y equals 4, the green part. The blue part is saying x is -1, and that will enable us to find c. We end up with 4 equals -3 plus c. Add 3 to both sides. C would have to be 7. So in fact the equation of our line is y equals 3x plus 7. So the gradient of 3 gave us a 3x, and we had to use the x and y values given to us to find the constant, which in this case was plus 7. And in example 3, once again the key information we're looking for is that gradient of -2. So the equation begins y equals -2x plus the constant. We're going to use those values of x and y, 4 and 1, in order to find the value of c, the constant. So y equals -2x plus c, when we substitute our x and y values in, becomes 1 equals -2 lots of 4 plus c. Where did the 1 come from? Well, that's our y value. Where did the 4 come from? That's our given x value. And our equation now involving c is 1 equals -8 plus c. We add 8 to both sides, and therefore c equals 9, giving us a final equation of y equals -2x plus 9. So a last recap. The gradient tells us the number of x in the equation, in this case it was -2, and then we substitute our x and y values in order to find the constant c.